Okay, so we're live. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. My name is Evan Jones. I'm the community manager for Pursuitery.com. Thank you all for joining us today. Today is going to be the chasing game hints Geekout, where we're going to talk about our coding with Scratch challenge number 1, the chasing game, and offer some hints and tips to improve your games. So again, a quick recap. This is the first of 5 coding with Scratch challenges that we're running on Pursuitery.com. Once you complete all 5 challenges, you'll get a Scratch Ninja Digital badge. Here's the important thing here, it's really cool. We just made some notes about this. Just so you know, you can complete these challenges by August 24th, 11:59 PDT, which is Pacific Daylight Time, because we're in California here, and you'll get a badge. But if you complete your challenge within this week, finished by Sunday at 11:59 p.m. PDT this week, you'll be eligible to win one of these. A Makey Makey, which is, you can read more about these at makeymakey.com. They're great. It's an invention kit / controller that you can use with, it works with alligator clips and grounding. It plugs into your computer via USB. It works with Mac, works with Linux, works with Windows, and it's really, really cool. I think you're going to enjoy having a chance to mess around with these, and we were gifted a bunch to give away, and we're so excited to have that as part of this deal here this week with Coding with Scratch. So if you get your challenge in by Sunday night, 11:59 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time, that's going to happen. And I'd like to welcome Valentina to the live broadcast. Again, you can watch this on the page. We embed these live, and we also keep these broadcasts on the page later. So if I answer any questions here that you'd like to see again, you can always go back and watch these videos. Okay, so as far as any questions you might have, we are going to have a thorough Q&A. Basically, all these Geekouts are going to follow the same schedule. And so if you have questions, please feel free to submit them in the chat if you're taking part of the live program. And if you're on Twitter and you're watching this on the embed stream, because some of you may not have been able to join the Geekout, please go ahead and use the hashtag #CodingWithScratch, all one word, Coding with Scratch, and we're going to do a Q&A here at the end of it after I work through some of the tips. Now, for code-specific questions, specifically stuff about improving your game and working with blocks and getting things more sought out, more polished, and just better and more smooth, you should direct yourself to our Scratch coaches in our Scratch studio for Challenge 1. Again, if you're on Pursuitery.com, we've got all the links pasted pretty much everywhere in each one of the Chasing Game Hints challenges and all the Geekouts. Hello, Stephanie. Hey there. Nice to see you again. Just saying hello to the live broadcast people. I always want to make sure if you participate that I give a shout out. But as I was saying, if you have questions about code-specific issues, say you're figuring out how a block works, you want to figure out something about motion, you're working with sprites. I saw a quick cut there. Hello. You have questions about sprites, etc., you can go to the Scratch Coaches Studio that we have set up for challenge number 1 and submit questions there. Again, you can find those links on the embed page for the Chasing Game Hints Geekout, which, if you're watching this live, it's right below you, and we have them on all the challenges as well. The link is going to say Get Help from Scratch Coaches, and you could submit questions there. And if you have questions for our Q&A that we're going to do after I work through some of these hints again, just be sure and get at us via Twitter using Coding with Scratch as the hashtag. Just checking my Twitter feed there, which I have running. It's like 2 computers here. I have a data center, as you can tell. It's a massive worldwide organization of people who are dedicated to visual storytelling in Scratch. It's a good time. So moving on, for today's intro, we're going to talk about hints to improve your chase game. I want to talk about some general stuff first. We've had a lot of newcomers. We've had a lot of people get at us in the past 3 to 4 days, and I just do want to take this time to say, on behalf of myself and everybody else at Pursuitery.com, thank you. It's been so exciting to see this. It's been so exciting for ourselves and our partners and everybody that's interested in digital storytelling and games and light coding and just all the cool stuff you can do. It's been very gratifying. So we hope to see everybody on. We'd like to give a big thank you to not only all the participants, but all the volunteer coaches who are doing an awesome job. Be sure and visit summer.pursuitery.com if you're new to all this and you have questions. That will give you the basic breakdown. And we're just going to keep going and going and going. And the big reminder is after today, when we go through all the hints, you will be able to join our Show and Tell Geek Out and check that out on Friday. You can submit your challenges, and you can show us what you've done. You can tweet at us, again, using Coding with Scratch, and we're just going to basically revel in our accomplishments as far as game making goes. So discussing some general things really quickly before we get into the hints. You'll have to have a Scratch account to participate. So you sign up for that, scratch.mit.edu. Excuse me, that's scratch.mit.edu. And you'll also need to join Pursuitery.com, which you should do anyway, because they're great people. And we do a lot of fun stuff on the site, lots of geekouts of all kinds, and it's a really interesting place to be. We'd love to have you participating. We'd love to have you on the geekouts and in the Scratch challenges. So to join this first challenge on Pursuitery, you're going to click Participate on this Coding with Scratch Chasing Game Challenge. Again, you can see all the challenges on the home page. You have to be logged in. That's the biggest thing. That's why you're going to need an account. And then you'll see a Submit Challenge button after logging in and clicking Participate. Now, if you click on that, you'll be able to submit a link to your Scratch entry. This is why you need a Scratch account, because you have to do Scratch somewhere. Now, again, the deadline for this week to be eligible for the Makey Makey is June 22nd, 11:59 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time, because we're in California and that's the very end of the day. Again, if you have all 5 of your challenges in by August 24th at 11:59 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time, you'll get yourself the Scratch Ninja Badge. But if you're going for the Makey Makey, it's by Sunday, last minute of Sunday, PDT. I'd also like to note that people have been saying, hey, I'd like to refine my project, I'd like to add some stuff to it, and that's totally cool. You can completely work that out. You just need to go back to this page, to Pursuitery, log in on the challenge page, and click Edit Your Submission. You can edit your listing with the new URL. And again, as far as getting help goes, which we're about to dive into a little bit here, if you visit the Scratch Studio for Challenge 1, you could leave comments or questions for coaches. And somebody will get back to you, and we'll just kind of go back there and refine. And hopefully we see you all on Friday for the Geek Out at 10 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time as well. If you can't join, please submit your links using Coding with Scratch on Twitter as the hashtag, and we'll check out what everybody's done. It's exciting stuff so far. We've seen some entries, and we're blown away. It's excellent. We're very excited. So, referencing my notes here because there's a lot to cover. By the way, if you're on the live broadcast, could you let me know how the audio and video is? Because I'm always a little concerned about that. Alas, my dream of being a broadcast journalist may not be true, but if it's doing okay, can you give me a thumbs up? All right, I'm going to take that as a yes. Oh, there we are. Appreciate that. So the basics, the breakdown for the Chasing Game Challenge. We have 3 steps to this to get it going. You create one player who's controlled by pressing your arrow keys. And the second part of that is you create a second player, an artificial intelligence mastermind, who's controlled by the computer and chases the first player. Now, typically, player 1 is going to be you or your friends. And then you give instructions to that computer on how to chase your player. And then the last part of this is when the first player is caught by the computer, you announce that it's the end of the game. Those are the 3 basic challenges there. And so if you look at the Chasing Game Hints page, and we also have this on our YouTube channel as well, you can see a pretty thorough video that we've prepared that goes through some nuances and some basics. I'm just going to kind of jump in and refine those and review those with you. There's a couple little simple hints and tips that you can use to refine your game a little bit and get it running more smoothly. Again, that video is available not only on this page but also on Pursuitery's YouTube challenge. Pardon me, on Pursuitery's YouTube channel. But one thing you'll notice when you start your game and you've just kind of built it out is that your cat will move backwards when you're pressing, oh, pardon me, your sprite. You can't use the Scratch Cat. You can definitely use sprites of your own choosing. That's another little fun thing you can do. Your cat will move backwards. Sometimes when you do that, he'll move upside down. Some people don't like that, and so we should be looking at how to possibly change our icon's direction. So to do that, and again, this is all animated in the video that we have on this page, so if you get a little lost here, just check out the video. So if you do that, you'll be able to click on your, if you click on your icon, the little I button, if you select your sprite, you'll be able to do things like change the direction of your cat and I keep saying cat, but I mean sprite. Change the sprite's name and set the rotation style. Now the rotation style is what dictates how it moves. So there's 3 rotation styles. You have all rotate, which is pretty much all around the world, 360 degrees. Side to side rotate only. It goes this way or it goes this way, left and right. And that way it never goes upside down. And the no change option, so it always goes in the same direction. I choose the middle option here, which is side to side rotate only, and that keeps it from going upside down when you're using the arrow keys. So to keep your sprite from going upside down, click on your sprite and then click on the eye information button, and you can dictate the direction of your sprite. That'll stop it from going like whoof when you go one direction or the other. So another problem people have is that their sprite will get stuck in the corner sometimes, and you won't be able to find your sprite. You'll be confused about where it went. To get that sprite back, you can go to the motions block, the motions selection of commands on Scratch, and select the option, and select the go to command under motions, and then you can enter X and Y coordinates. X and Y coordinates are obviously going to be horizontal and vertical. Some really interesting stuff to read up on, very useful in math class, very useful stuff. But if you select that command, bring it over to your script, and you click it, you just put in 0 for X and Y, and your sprite will pop right back into the middle. It's always stuck on the edge somewhere, and now you can see it. So that's how you get to see your sprite again. Now, to move into something that's a little bit more complicated, we're going to talk about using the broadcast command. Basically, the broadcast command makes your game start and stop when you want it to by sending a signal to all your sprites. Now, in the video that you'll see, again, that's on the Chase Game hints page that you're watching this on if you're watching live. In the video, you'll see a brief splash page. A splash page is just the first thing that kind of comes up when you're playing a game. It's old school arcade stuff. Hey, welcome to Super Mario Brothers. Welcome to Mega Man. Welcome to Metroid. That kind of stuff. That's where you do your announcements, and you can make them really cool. It's one of those things to do. But the splash page comes about because of the broadcast command on this video we're using. And it's going to be under events. And using broadcast allows us to start the game all at once. And basically it just means we've clicked that, the sprites get the command, and it goes. It's one of those things that actually it's somewhat more difficult to explain than to see because it's almost immediate in its effectiveness, but there you go. After the splash page is done on our video, it broadcasts the message start, and there's an internal message that goes to every single sprite, and they do something. So that's what gets the game rolling. Now, again, we're going to create these messages under the block that says events. You can broadcast a message, and you can receive a message. And you can make whatever message you want. If you just go to events, broadcast, and type new message, you type whatever message you want to have in there. It actually doesn't really matter what it says as long as you can remember what it is. And again, the video guide has a pretty thorough breakdown of this. You can see it in context, and that's also in HD too. Now, if you look at what happens here in the video, if you look at the cat, when he gets the start command, he switches costumes. And you make sure he's in the right costume, and then he goes to his starting location. That's after we hit the flag with the broadcast command. And as far as the beetle goes, it's going to receive a message that says receive the start command, and it's going to start its game under its own starting position, and it has a message along the lines of, here I come. The say command, which is where you broadcast messages on your screen, you get your characters to talk, so to speak. You can see that in our Hello World page on our Pursuitery studio. I made a quick little game there. The say command is located under looks, and that allows you to enter text. I like personally using say for 2 seconds because it doesn't fill up the screen with text and talking, because it just goes in there and you don't have to worry about it. And there says a little message, says hi, or I'm chasing you, or I've been caught, and then just disappears. And then we use a forever loop like we talked about, where you point toward the sprite, then you move toward it. This is for the actual chase part of it, and again, I really suggest people watch the video because it breaks it down so thoroughly. The job here is to change move to 2 steps and give your cat a chance, and then we have to check to see if it gets caught. This is the gist of the chasing game's real meat, is making sure that one has a lead and your beetle, in this case, from the video, your enemy gets to chase it and catch it. So we do this inside the forever loop that says if touching sprite 1, which will be the name of your sprite, if you change it to something else, it won't be sprite 1. It would be cat, dog, rat, whatever you have you. And everything that happens in there is only going to happen if they're touching, because the if touching sprite 1 is the condition there. So it's going to broadcast a message saying caught if it's touching. And in my case on the video, it says, I got you, and then it will change the sprite. Now also, from here we can start doing things like sort of creating a score and keeping a score with it. So in the video you'll see I've created a variable called times caught. Now a variable is just basically a counting device. In this case it's just counting how many times we've been caught. And we'll see how many times our sprite, our character, in this case the cat, ends up getting grabbed by the beetle. So it's broadcasting a caught message. And you can see what happens to the cat when it gets caught. It switches to, oh, sorry, whacked my mic pretty good there. It switches to its costume and it says, ah, rats, I've been caught. And then it broadcasts start again, so the game starts again. That basically allows you not only to keep playing, but to see how many times you've been caught. And it's a nice little trip in a variable there. It kind of gamifies it a bit more, so you see this process happening over and over again. Now, again, the basic part of the challenge is designed to introduce key ideas in how to use Scratch. You've got assigning the arrow keys to moving your character, and I think our video breaks it down pretty thoroughly, but what I want to do is open up some sort of how I did this in context. And anyway, these hints will get you started on the challenge and the basics of challenge and how to go from there. You can pretty much, if you have the 3 constraints of our requirements, which are you create one player, you move it by the arrow keys, the second player is controlled by the computer and chases the first player, and then when the first player gets caught, you announce the end of the game. That's really all you need to do. But then it's a question of kind of refining it, and some of these hints and tips will make it better. And again, you can add in sounds, you can add in backgrounds, you can add in music, you can have characters change costumes and be animated. There's a lot of tips and tricks there. And again, if you have more questions, if you're watching the live stream, feel free to use coding with Scratch as the hashtag. We'll get some questions in here hopefully in a few minutes. And also visit the Chasing Game Studio that we have listed under our links. That's where our coaches are helping people out with more in-depth and detailed questions. And so I just want to note again that you can keep adding more stuff to your game to refine it and make it better, adding in extras such as sounds and backgrounds, scores, other features. We're basically going to start from here and then move into the next couple of challenges and building on these basic building blocks and ideas. But that should be enough to kind of refine your game a bit more. And I'd like to remind everybody that we have a show and tell on Friday, June 20th at 10 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time, because we're in California again. And you can tweet us with the hashtag codingwithscratch with questions right now as we get into the Q&A. And drop by and send us your notes for the show and tell. We'd love to see what everybody's done. We've been getting some entries so far that are pretty awesome, and we're happy to look into it. So now with a brief pause, I'm going to check to see if I got any questions. And if you're on the live broadcast, please do feel free to use the chat, enter any questions here. And I'm just going to check my Twitter feed for 1 second. All right, so checking to see for questions. I've got a couple here. Yes, Valentina, thanks for the concern. I cut my signal for just a second, so you didn't all have to see me run over and check my other computer. It was just me being buying myself a little bit of time. So let's see, 3 or 4 questions have come in so far. And again, if you're on the live stream, please use the hashtag codingwithscratch with questions. And again, for more thorough and in-depth responses, you can go to our Scratch Game Studios and look at the comments, and that's where we've got coaches answering questions so far. Oh goodness, I lost Valentina. I had a question from Valentina, but she just took off from the live stream. Oh, welcome back. Okay, so Valentina was saying, I've assembled my own game with the help of the videos, but there's something that doesn't quite work. The two sprites overlap each other when the cat's caught. Okay, so if they're touching, that could be an issue of where the sprite animation is. It's just kind of refining something. But my question in response is, when they're caught, is the chaser catching the chasee, and is the chasee saying something? Because it sounds like, without seeing it, and you can post a link if you'd like, it sounds like something where it's just it's a collision detection issue. And collision detection is, hey, I've got my right hand, I've got my left hand. Oh, look, they're touching. Yeah, I'm going to probably put this into our Chase Chase studio so the coaches can look at it. But as long as it ends the game and then restarts, you should be good on that one. It may just be an issue of preference, or it may be an issue with, like, this is what one sprite does in terms of design and one sprite does in terms of design, and they may not be playing completely nice with one another. We had a question about the Makey Makey prize. How is the winner chosen? Is it by merit of game or by random draw? We actually going to have a full breakdown of all of the details with that in a matter of minutes here on the website. Basically, I do know that we're just coming up with the best process for it because we've sort of been overwhelmed by entries, which is one of those good problems to have, but we want to be very certain that we give everybody a shot and make sure it makes sense. So thank you for asking that, Vivian, on Twitter. I will let you know as soon as possible. Okay, Stephanie Langford asked, I deleted a sprite and lost all my coding. Is there a way to get it again? Okay, so when you're looking at the sprites, you've got code for each sprite. On Scratch itself, I'm going to pull this up here, so give me 1 second. So I'm looking at one of my own Scratch programs to see about something because I want to see exactly if I can help out with this. If you go to File in the upper left on your Scratch script page, you can see something called Revert. Now, I'm not exactly sure if this is going to revert. And revert, it means go back. If that's going to revert to exactly what you're looking for with your sprite, but that may get you closer to where your sprite was. On that sprite, now the scripts are assigned to each sprite, and that's what I think had happened if you'd actually deleted one. So if you revert, and I think it may do versions of them, like versions 1, version 2, version 3, you may be able to get that code back. So if you can give that a shot, Stephanie, and let us know if it doesn't work. And again, you can also ask the coaches on the Scratch Game Challenge page. Just looking at a few more questions here via Coding with Scratch. Let's see. So Valentina, I've got your link here, and the live participants can use it. I think I can give just a couple seconds to look at this. I just want to be sure here, give you a definitive answer. If I can, again, I will make sure that I get you in touch with the Scratch coaches on our page. So let me look at Valentina's code. Okay, Valentina, so I've been looking at your game here, and yeah, what I see is yeah, so I think you've got the code set for the cat just fine, but for the bat, you've got some code to adjust here. Off the top of my head, kind of looking at it and wondering if it's confusing, if the start is coming from the broadcast command or from the flag. So that's one thing that we should put that into the Scratch coaches comment, but it's just I'm not seeing the bat react yet. So I think if we if we do what call as an A/B test, looking at what we have in our video, we can kind of look at what your code is, again, specifically for the bat sprite, and how that interacts with the cat sprite. I think it may be a broadcast message mismatch. Don't quote me on that because I'm functional but not an expert. That's why I rely on our amazing Scratch coaches for help. But let me sidebar that. And again, if you go to the Scratch Coaches Studio on our Chasing Game Studio, you can enter that code there. I may actually go on a second just to say hi to everybody. I could say, can anybody give a hand with this code? I trust you with the coding. I have the scratching code link, coach link available for you. I'll put that into here. But I think you basically just, for your challenge there with the bat, you may have something there where it's conflicted. All right, so I got a quick update from Shea Vivian. Answer is that entry criteria will be posted on the website ASAP, and that's what we're going to be saying there for the official word on that. So Valentina, if you get a chance in the live broadcast, could you let me know that if you have access to the Chasing Game Studio? Because if not, I'll send you the link and you can sign up there. And again, on visiting on Pursuitery.com, we have all the listings for the challenges, and that will include the links to the Getting Help with Coaches section. And you can keep sending in questions there, and coaches will get back to you as well. But I think it's just an issue with, specifically in this case, you've got maybe a bit of a conflict between between the start broadcast message and what your sprite's actually doing. So let me get you this link so you have it here. All right, Valentina. Yeah, the link that I just put into the live chat, that should give you a hand with that. So I'm going to go ahead and give the 3-minute notice here for any final questions. If I can help anybody out in any way, shape, or form, please do let me know. Again, all the information is listed on not only summer.pursuitery.com, but as well as on our various websites, and you can access it all via the front page of Pursuitery.com as well for the challenges. Okay. Okay, here's one from Joshua. When my sprite is caught, I have the code to let him say, "Oh no, I've been caught," but they just overlap and twitch. Help. All right. So, unfortunately, I don't have the link to the code for yours. Right there, I had a small dropout issue there. Joshua, I'd have to see what your code looks like, but again, if you visit the Chasing Game Scratch Studio that we have for our coaches, they can give you a definitive answer. I'll be sure to write you back with this answer on Twitter as well. That's going to do it for today's Chasing Game Hints Challenge. Be sure and join us on Friday again at 10 a.m. PDT for the show and tell game, and thank you all. We're very excited to do this here at Pursuitery.com, and we appreciate it. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.